Welcome to an audio experience that will pique your curiosity and soothe your soul. Join Dr. Dee Evans, your host, as she creates a space for women from all walks of life to reflect upon their life experiences with topics that range from love, spirituality, and pop culture. These discussions will engage and support you on your journey of wholeness and freedom. Welcome to the Hey Sis podcast.
What's up, everybody? Thank you for listening to the Hey Sis podcast. I am your host, Dr. Dee Evans. And in today's podcast episode, we're going to discuss covenant friendships / relationships. I'll use that term interchangeably. I think talking about the types of friends are important because friends are important to our health and happiness. Friends soothe the part of us that needs to belong. You can have God. I know Vicky Winan says, as long as I got King Jesus, I don't need nobody else. But if we were to be truthful and honest, we do need other people in our life. We do need other people. You can die in isolation. That's a scientific fact. In the military, going to solitary confinement can kill you, literally. And we need people. We need friends. And we have different types of friends. Knowing what type of friend you're talking to or you're engaging with can help you live a more purpose-filled life. We got friends that we only see at parties. We got the ride or dies. We have the BFFs. We got the friends we grew up with, right? From our hometown. We got the work friends. Them my partners right there. We got the friends that we're shady with, that we send reels and stories to, right? We got the friends that we hang out only once in a while. Maybe those are friends based on whether we go to the library or not, or friends whether we see them at Starbucks, you know? Or we got friends that we can't really go a day without talking to. All friends are necessary, but I do want to break down just a few types of friends, but especially covenant relationships, so that we can really honor the people that God has put in our lives in a way that's pleasing to God. Friendships do require work and effort, but all of them require a different level of work and effort, just like a relationship. So acquaintances are the friendships that don't require a lot of work and effort because it's friendly. I mean, maybe you met a few times. Maybe it's your Instagram friend that you just happen to live in the same city with. Acquaintances, sometimes you can meet through mutual friends. I mean, it's kind of like, yeah, I know your name and your last name because I follow you on Insta, but I don't really know you like that, but I think you're really cool. It's the people we don't have deep-hearted conversations with, but if I see you at my friend's wedding, we are going to giggle and kiki and turn up, right? So acquaintances offer like friendly interactions. They offer casual chit-chats. They offer, oh girl, you cute, where you get your dress from, conversations. They are the social media connections. You share their stuff on your page, and they share your stuff on their page. I even think acquaintances are networking opportunities. Look, listen, you're my friend because we share each other's threads. I'm here for it. You're an acquaintance type of friend, and I need you. You make threads a more livable space for me. Then we have like casual friends. These are individuals like work friends, right? Or hobby-based friends. If you work out a lot, you'll probably have a lot of casual friends. I feel like that workout gang, the gym gang, the gym rats, as people say, people form a lot of friendships in the gym because it's a friendship based on an activity. So the connection is more tied to an activity or a service rather than a strong personal bond, but you can bond through the personal activity or the shared activity. So casual friendships can offer lighthearted conversations, playful banter, maybe talking about the news. Did you see what Diddles did? I mean, did he? I said it. He did it. Anyway, I just had to get that out. Lighthearted conversations about what happened at church. Maybe lighthearted conversations about the person profusely sweating over there. Who knows? very low pressure interactions as well with casual friendships. And it may be with casual friendships as a person you hit up. Hey, what's up? I'm at Kava. You in town? Or, hey, what's going on? Are you available for a drink at Baker's Crust? Or you want to hit up this restaurant if you're in town on Saturday? I know we talked about this drink. I would love to try it out. I have restaurant friends. I legit have friends that we only go to restaurants together. We don't talk on the phone. We don't text. I see a new restaurant pop up in town. I'm like, hey, you see this? They're like, oh my God, we gotta go. And we sit at the table, we eat, and we kind of just keep the conversation lighthearted, giggling, chuckling, talking about food. And I love it. Those friendships are needed. Now, I think that cuts it for the low pressure friendships, but for me, that cuts it. But I do want to mention that lifelong friends are a separate category. These are the people that have seen you like through your development. Like, they know your mom, they know your dad, they've been to your house when you were a kid. Maybe you ate peanut butter and jelly sandwiches together. You have familial times, and there's a timelessness there. It's the friendships that transcend time and distance. I don't talk to any of my classmates at all. I don't. It's not that I don't love them. It's just that we have the type of friendship that is just based on this lifelong friendship. If something happens to them and I see on Facebook, I'm going to reach out. If I'm in town and I see one of them in the store, if they ask to go grab a drink, I'm going to go. Why? They give me a sense of belonging. When I see them, it evokes feelings of like Thanksgiving. Have you ever seen someone and thought about Thanksgiving? That's how I feel about my friends where I'm from. Like, when I see them, it makes me think of home. And some friends, because of the passing of my dad, it evokes emotion because some of our shared experiences involve him. And it's hard to have conversations without bringing daddy up, which makes me feel so vulnerable and out of control because I can't bring him back. And I can't control my tears when I talk about him. So just all of those things are important. Okay, so lifelong friendships exist, familial times. You have lifelong memories with these people. These are the people that have inside jokes about your family that only they would know, not someone that you met at the gym, right? Those friendships are very important, especially in times of grief and sadness. I know that sounds crazy, but some of the jokes some people said about my family when dad was dying really got me through. Like the jokes, the memories, the testimonies, they helped me. Those friendships matter, y'all. But getting to covenant relationships, these are the relationships that you put effort into because these people matter. They're your inner circle. These are the people that you bond with. These are the people that you talk to often. These are the people that you share your struggles with. These are the people that you confide your deepest, darkest secrets to. These people provide emotional support. One day in the near future, give me about a year, I want to do a whole class on emotional intelligence. Listen, church people got to have emotional intelligence. People in the workplace, we have classes for emotional intelligence. But I think everyone needs to have a little class on how to talk to people if you want to be a friend. If you want to be a loner, you don't need a class. But that emotional support is important. Let me tell you when I found out that people don't have emotional intelligence. When my daddy died. Oh, God. People say things that are just weird and not comforting. And the amount of times people said something stupid to me, oh, the Lord must have really wanted your daddy in heaven. How does that comfort me in my time of need? Or I'm just so distraught, I don't know what to do about your dad dying, and they crying to me. How am I going to help you cry and now I'm crying? This is not support, honey. But when your emotionally supportive friend You provide a space where people can freely express their thoughts without judgment, and freely express their feelings and their fears without worry about being judged or not seen well. Right? That's very important in covenant relationships, that you see people. And sometimes it takes practice and discipline to learn how to see people. I don't know if we're ever going to see people the way that God sees them. I think there's something in our eyeballs. Maybe it's the log in our eyes. It takes discipline to ask God to help you see a person the way that God sees them. And that takes work. But when you have covenant relationships, you got to work at that thing. And that's where trust comes in. Covenant relationships are the people that you trust when you're going through a hard time. It's the people you say the tough stuff to, and you trust that they're loyal to you, that they have your back. It's the people that you turn to for comfort. Friends provide consolation, not conflict, right? Covenant relationships provide consolation in times of grief and loss and heartache. And these friends understand your pain. And if they don't understand it, they let you have it. There have been many times where I have listened to someone talk about something I just don't understand. Or honestly, talk about something I just don't agree with. But it's not about me in the moment. It's not about my opinion. It's the fact that I know what it's like to just need to be heard. And as a person that I love my covenant relationships, it's a discipline for me to learn how to be a comforter. Because one day I'm going to need comfort. I've said this before in my podcast, and I'll say it again. The grace you don't extend to someone is the grace you will need in the near future. So the practice of being a comforter, I think, is important, not just for covenant relationships, but also marriage, and also those of you that have children. Okay? You basically have to have a degree in psychology to be a parent. But, I've seen my friends that are parents, and that they may not be the most emotionally stable people, but with their kids, they have to learn how to be a source of comfort. So it's practice. Covenant relationships are about quality time. I don't care how busy your schedule is. These days, you can FaceTime, voice note, screenshot. Listen, don't play with me. There's ways you can spend quality time. These are the people that you want to celebrate your birthday. These are the people that you go to be there for special occasions. It's the people that you make an effort to connect with. You don't have to make an effort to connect with everybody. Like just those little shared activity-based friends. It's okay if you miss a coffee date with them or you're not available for them. But your covenant relationships, these are the people that you create time for because they matter, because they're a part of your family. I don't have any actual family members where I live. So my friends are my family. So oftentimes I find myself having to pencil them into my schedule, and it can be inconvenient, but that's okay because we covenant. So if I got to lose a little sleep so I could be at the baby's birthday party, I'm going to be there. If that means I got to make sure my flight gets back at a certain time to celebrate you for your graduation, then I'm going to be there. Because covenant relationships require work and intentionality. And it's work and intentionality that I'm willing to put in. Even if I don't have enough, there's something I can offer. Covenant relationships give advice. There are sounding boards. They also offer love and accountability. Close friends will hold you accountable for actions and decisions. If you can't be in a covenant relationship and not hear the hard things, just like you can't be in a relationship and not hear the hard things, and being able to give honest feedback and being able to make better choices. And trust that your friend's input isn't coming from a bad place. Like I said earlier, it's a discipline to learn how to see people the way that God sees them and to sit with them. My life coaching, because I was a life coach, and I say was because I don't really want to go back into that. Not that I didn't love it. It's just not a space I'm in right now. I'm doing other things. But when you're a life coach, a good one at least, You really have to learn to sit with people and honor their feelings, even if it annoys you. And when you're a good life coach, people trust your input. So I'm very particular about how I respond to people because I've been on the other seat. I've been the person expressing how I feel. And I can give you the example again of grief and telling them, hey, I am really nervous about how I'm going to grieve if I ever get married because my dad can't walk me down the aisle. And then their response is, oh, well, I had a really great time and my dad walked me down the aisle when I get married. It's like, did you not hear what I just said? Like, did you miss the intelligence, the emotional intelligence train? Yes, you did. And people, again, I don't charge it to the hearts of everyone because some people just don't have emotional intelligence. In that moment, that person is a good person that made that comment. I just think they didn't know how to respond. But coming from the lens of a life coach, I'm so overly aware of how advice can either make the situation better or worse. Some advice is going to hurt. The truth can sting and hurt and cut, but if I love you, there's a way to say it. Because honesty doesn't have to be brutal. Can I say that again? Honesty does not have to be brutal. Your covenant relationships should know how to deliver honesty to you without trying to kill you or demean you. For those of you that struggle with really having close relationships, I get it. You're not alone, especially if you're in the gifted department. Because the enemy has a way. The enemy loves to use the people closest to you to offend you. Because he can't get to you no other way. Your covenant relationships are a shield. But learning how to hear, understand, articulate yourself, and then release. Because offense doesn't have a place in any relationship, but offense is a prison. And don't nobody want to be in prison. Don't nobody want to be in no doggone prison. Covenant relationships help you to really walk out what it means to be a Christian, what it means to be a lover of God and His statutes. So for those covenant relations that you have, I think that there are 5 commitments, 5 that I see from my feeble mind, right? That we can make to our covenant friends and to God to honor those relationships. And it's a commitment to serve. It's loving a person isn't just an emotion, it's a service. Some of the greatest friendships you'll ever have are formed when you serve them. When you set aside what's going on with you and you serve and you love without looking for anything back. You just serve, you're just present, and you just love. There's also a commitment to honor. As a covenant friend, if anyone comes against your honor, I'm coming for them. It's like you have to have a commitment to honor your friends. And honor can only be given out of the heart. That's why envious people can't be your covenant friend. Because out of the heart, the mouth speaks. But when you're in a covenant relationship, like I said, a friendship or with a spouse, you have to have a commitment to honoring them even when you don't feel like it. You have to have a commitment to speaking well of them and well to them when they've effed up, when they have disgusted you, when your feelings are hurt, or when they made the wrong decision. You've got to make a commitment to honor them with your words. You know how many times I have opted to be silent, not because I didn't have words to say, but because I've made a commitment to honor. Because the words are going to come out my mouth are subject what is that phrase? This call is being monitored and recorded for quality assurance purposes. Everything I say is subject to that. I don't know what that is about me. Like, anybody can say anything else to somebody, but if I say it, Jesus have mercy, it is Armageddon. Okay? Bring on the Antichrist. It's the end of the world. And instead of being annoyed by that, I own it. And now I just have a commitment to honor people. And sometimes my silence is a commitment to honor you because I know my words may not be honoring. Right? So also there's a commitment to being vulnerable in covenant friendships. Woo! When you commit to being vulnerable, it's that trust factor. You cannot have a covenant friendship with someone that you don't trust. There's so many ins and outs of a person. Listen, and I'm talking to the married people. There are things that you will tell your friend that you won't tell your spouse immediately. There are things that you will tell your friend that you may not ever tell your spouse. And that is okay. That's why you've got to have covenant friendships that see you, that can see you in the ugliness and say, friend, I see you and I'm going to call this out and we're going to pray and we're going to shift this thing. That's me. But you got to be vulnerable. You got to be willing to cry and say, this hurt me. Or I don't agree with this. Or, friend, I know I said on Facebook that all is well, but really deep down inside, I'm toe down. You got to be that vulnerable. That's why I believe in living a life of authenticity. Honey, if you don't feel it, just say you don't feel it. You don't need to tell Facebook you don't feel it. You just need to don't feel it by yourself. And if you got a friend you can confide in and say, hey, I don't feel it because of X, Y, Z. Sometimes you don't need a response in the sense of you don't need a solution. I just need somebody to know I don't feel it because I know God knows it, but I need to tell somebody else. And that's okay. Covenant friendships should also have a commitment to value a person, to value their worth. One of the most hurtful things that I've heard repeated in my life, so people say, I value your friendship. That gets on my nerves. I hear people say, I value your friendship and then do something stupid to you. You don't value nothing. But valuing a person's personhood, valuing where they came from, what experiences they have, valuing their boundaries, respecting, right? Their boundaries, valuing their family time. Don't nobody want no worrisome friend that's always being around when they got other stuff to do. Honey, get the verbal cues. It's time to go. That's why, yeah. And also valuing their heart. I've got a friend that has taught me even the more how to value someone's heart. And it has made me much more compassionate and mushy than I would like to be. Not because I'm putting myself in their shoes, but because this person is hurting and they're valuable. I don't have to understand it. Actually, it can make me uncomfortable. But the fact that you're hurting and I view you as valuable to me, that is enough for me to pay attention to you and sit with you in the dirt and in the dust. One thing I've learned about committing to covenant relationships, I'll tell you something. I will cast out demons for you. I will go to your house, watch your kids, watch your dog, listen, cut hair, curl hair, flat iron hair, twist. These are things I've all had to do in a covenant friendship. And I'm not saying I'm keeping records of wrongs or anything. I'm just saying when you need me, I'm going to be there. If I can, I'm going to be there. Why? Yes, I value you. Yes, I love you. But because I've also been in a space where I looked and there was no one. You know why there wasn't anyone? Because I wasn't prophesying. Because I wasn't singing. because I wasn't giving them attention. One of the hardest things I had to hear was, I'll go ahead and say it. Let me be transparent. This is the Hey Sis podcast. I needed what was it? Was it a dryer? Did my dryer go out? It was my dryer. I needed a dryer. And I was just casually saying it out loud to someone that was a covenant friend. And she said to me, well, you've got enough friends that you sow your time into, that you love. Nobody has thought to give you anything to help you with your situation. Like, can you afford the dryer? Do you need us to help you? And don't get me wrong, I was flabbergasted at the fact that someone would even offer to help me buy a dryer. Now, let me be clear. I ain't no dryers cost that much. My dryer costs about $700. No, a little bit more. No, $700. And I got that thing pretty much on sale. Okay? Moving on. What made me tear up is no one's ever asked me, how can I help you? No one's ever asked me, how can I support you? Until I really took covenant friendship seriously. And you ain't got to have money to support. I'm not trying to make this financial. I'm just saying, if I don't have no money to put up to help you buy a washer, I got a washer. You can come over here and use mine. I got some quarters. I can help you pay for a laundry service. Right? What? I might not have but 2 fish and 5 loaves, but you can have one of them. You can have 2 of them. We can share. Because you're valuable. You matter to God, therefore you matter to me. And yes, I will say that. Once you get a revelation that people really matter, that changes the way you communicate with them. It changes the way you support them. Don't nobody matter more. Like, there's not like a triage in heaven. Your feelings don't matter more than nobody else's. Okay, I'll say it again. In covenant relationship, you realize how you feel. Let's put a measure on it. Let's say how you feel is 10. How they feel is 10 too. Everybody matters. Everybody's heart matters. When God looks, he's not saying, oh, you matter more than they do. Everybody's heart, everybody's intention, everybody's situation, everybody's grief and pain, it all matters. Covenant friendships don't put a measure on the matter. We just sit in it. Yeah, you can call people up and out. Honey, it's time for you to get over that. Look, and that's okay. Real covenant friends can take it and receive it. But there's no elitism in covenant friendships because everybody is valuable. Everything matters. The details matter. Right? And lastly, covenant relationships have a commitment to stay close. Proverbs 17:7 says a friend is loyal. Right? And that don't mean being accessible 24/7. You got stuff you got to do. But remember when I said covenant relationships can also be inconvenient? That's what I mean by that. It can be extremely inconvenient. But that's okay because I value you. And I know that I've committed to God concerning you. And when you win, I win. And when you fail or you feel defeated, I'm going to help you win. We in this together and we going to make it to the finish line. So give me your thoughts on covenant friendships and relationships. I hope this blessed you. I hope it made sense to you. And I hope that it gives you more motivation, not just to seek covenant friendships, but to be an active part of one. I'm telling you, y'all, the power of friendships and networking is real. don't negate that. All right? I love y'all and thank you for listening. Until the next time.
Thank you for listening to the Hey Sis podcast. Continue the conversation by visiting www.thedeevans.com and follow us for more updates.